you're gonna break into. Up on you.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calagione. It's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're listening. Hope you're doing all right. Busy show scheduled for today. Busy week. Pacquiao Marquez 4 week coming up. But first, this show is being brought to you in part by Cats Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. If you're looking for a limo and you're located someplace in the United States or even Canada and you want a really hot driver driving you around? Well, then you need to give my girl Kat a call, 202-351-7496. That's 202-351-7496. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. Give her a call today. Tell her Billy she sent you. Just remember, she's my girl. 202-351-7496. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. The show is also being brought to you in part by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, these are the ones that keep my ass out of trouble, and that is Campanaro and Tomkovich. Give them a call today. 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. The show is also being brought to you in part by my friends. I got one or two. Down at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. If you're looking for great people, fantastic food, drink specials all the time, and live entertainment on Friday and Saturday nights, well, then look no further than the Halftime Bar and Grill. Give them a call ahead, 518-792-4869, 518-792-4869. And don't forget, if you like hot sauce on your wings and you're man or woman enough to try the Billy C. hot sauce, and if Craig is working, then give it a shot, give it a try, and then let me know what you think. Phone number, 518-792-4869. And the show's also being brought to you in part by Ringside.com. That's right. If you're looking for any kind of boxing equipment, there's only one place to go, and that is Ringside. www.ringside.com. Check them out today, www.ringside.com. Don't forget to mention Billy C. and that you want the Billy C. discount. And by the way, for all of you gym owners or trainers or anyone else who might buy boxing equipment in bulk, give me a email. Drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and I'll even get you a bigger discount. That's right, at ringside.com. Make sure you tell them Billy C sent you, will you? You know, ringside.com. Busy show schedule for today, as usual. We got some fight results to talk about. I don't know. I thought it was an exciting fight. Miguel Cotto and Austin Trout. It didn't come out the way I predicted. I thought Cotto would win. And speaking about predictions, the Billy C Challenge this week, man, did everybody take a hit, right? Everybody took a hit this week, that's for sure. I did a little better than I thought. But I don't think anybody got them all right. And I don't even think anybody got 7 out of the 8 picks right. I think everybody was, I think the best was 6 out of 8. Most people were 5 out of 8, even 4 out of 8. So a lot of, I guess, upsets, or at least a lot of upset Billy C Challenge people. But anyway, first and foremost, I wanted to, we got some emails to read, but I want to remind everyone that we got the poll question up. As a matter of fact, we're going to be, I think it gets changed either today or tomorrow. Right now, the question was, who's going to win if they fight Robert Gus Guerrero against Floyd Mayweather Jr.? And man, listen, I'm so sick of talking about Floyd Mayweather. And so is everyone else. The bottom line is this: unless, do me a favor, especially all you emailers, unless there's something significant. Let's not talk about him. I mean, it's just, it's sickening. And there's so much more to this sport than him. So I'm going to try to avoid it. So if I start to read any emails that have to do with him, I think I'm just going to cut them short. But with that said, he's losing 16.7% against the Ghost if these two fight right now. 83.3% of you think that the Ghost will beat him. So, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just if you guys are voting like me, because I can't stand them, but whatever. This week, don't forget, immediately following the Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez numero cuatro fight, we'll be doing a post-fight show right here on BillyCBoxing.com and Fight Now TV, so make sure you check that out. And we'll have the phone lines open, so we'll want to get your thoughts on that. So make sure you mark that one down on your calendar. It's I know it seems like it's a long way away, but it's only a week, man. It's less than a week. Anyway, can you believe that? Oh yeah, you got another day saved. You're spared from the Christmas music because it didn't get put into the queue. We're still doing some updates, so no Christmas music until tomorrow. So. For those of you Scrooges that don't want to hear it, too bad. I don't even like it either. I'm a Scrooge myself. But anyway, my man Given Quality. Given Quality says, you didn't understand what I meant. Canelo didn't deserve to fight Cotto since he never fought and beat a real champion at 154. Oh, I agree with you. I agree with that. I don't think he deserves to fight any. I mean, who the hell is he? When you look at Canelo Alvarez, I mean, just because he's a draw, he's getting to call all the shots, and he happens to be with the right promoter, with Golden Boy. But I agree with my man Given Quality 100%. I don't think he deserves to start handpicking who he wants to fight. I mean, come on, man. It's a joke, but that's the problem. And by the way, I've been doing, I started doing a weekly column again, and it's not up yet, but it will be up there later today. And it has to do with something along those lines. So make sure you check out my new column, In My Opinion. And it has to do with that type of a thing and why this guy is getting to call the shots. I mean, he's with the right promoter. That's the bottom line. So he says, unless Cotto wants to give the fight if he defeats Trout. Now, obviously, Given Quality wrote this on Friday, so this was before he did not defeat Trout. He says, and then that's his business and a solid payday. I'd be okay with that. He says, Canelo has 40-plus fights and still never beat a real champion at 154, nor even a young prime lion, nor a guy of the same status as himself. And now he thinks he can handpick and choose the big names is ridiculous, according to Given Quality. Well, guess what, my man? I agree with you 100%. 100%. I agree with my man Given Quality. Yes, they're having a snowball fight in hell. No, I agree with him. I agree with him. Who the hell is Canelo to start town? This is in response to him saying, I only want this guy, I only want that guy, I only want Cotto, I only want the big fights. You know, who the hell is he? Who the hell is he? He says, on the Broner topic, at the beginning of a career, you have to take the fights to continue developing versus all different styles so you become comfortable in any situation later in your career. I agree with that 100%. I've been saying that. That's the joke of today's fighter. They fight one southpaw, and their team is like, okay, let's move ahead. Now we know how to fight southpaws, and that's not correct. I agree with Given Quality right there. He says if you want to fight fighters to fight more than 2 times a year, then some fights are not going to be the perfect matchup the fans and critics want. Because if he starts picking opponents and only 2 per year, will complain somehow. Some way. The potential opponents I mentioned, you got good mix of wild brawlers, technical fighters, and southpaw fighters. He should fight at least 2 of them next year and then go up to 140. Yeah, I agree with. I have said this in the past, and I agree with the fact that I personally would like to see fighters fight more often. Rather than only once or twice a year. I'd rather see them fight more often. And as a consolation, I wouldn't be opposed to fighting the less competitive fights in order to see the fighter more often, as long as they're not all pay-per-views and everything else. I mean, as long as it's in perspective, yeah. I don't want to see a fight that's, billed as a real tough fight, and it's not, and then we got to pay for it on pay-per-view and everything else. So, no, I agree with fighting more often, and not necessarily the knockout, drag-out fights. Now, what Given Quality is talking about is, my opinion about Adrian Bronner moving up to the 140-pound weight class right now, to get rid of the, to get out of the lightweight division. Given Quality says he should stick around and clean up the division. Well, my point is that, what does he have to prove? I mean, according to our rankings as of today, we got him at number 2 behind Ricky Burns. To me, Ricky Burns is the only guy in there. I don't want to see him. I mean, come on. Do you think a fight with Bronner and Casitas is worth it, or a rematch even with DeMarco? I mean, DeMarco was one of the best lightweights in the division, and he just destroyed him. There's so many better fights for him at junior welterweight. I hear what Given Quality's saying. Don't rush this kid, and I certainly don't want to rush him either. I'm enjoying Adrian Bronner. I mean, I don't think he's, I think he's overdoing it with the shtick, but he backs it up, so I don't have a problem with that. And I think that I think I'd much rather see him at 140. I agree that, you don't want to rush a fighter, but in this particular case, first of all, his body can handle it. Second of all, there's not anything there for him. I mean, do we want to see him clean up the division like that? Oh, well, I guess what Given Quality's point is, give him the experience, blah, blah, blah. But it's not like you got, killers up in the next division. I mean, yes, we have some much better fights at 140. But, I mean, it's not like, everybody's a Mike Tyson up there, I mean, 140, look at all the fights. I mean, of course, the top fighters in Danny Garcia and Matisse. You got Amir Khan, you got Bam Bam Rios, who moved up from lightweight. Zab Judah, who's fighting Danny Garcia. You got Mike Alvarado, Kendall Holt, Asagun. You got some young fighters in there as well that are on their way up. I just think that it's more lucrative for him to and then stick around the junior welterweight division for a long time because, like Given Quality saying about the lightweight division, I would love to see him clean up the junior welterweight division, or at least challenge some fighters. So in his case, I think it's okay for him to move up, but I don't want to rush him. So I mean, if his team doesn't think he's ready, then I'm not going to have a problem with it. I'm just saying. When you look at the landscape of the lightweight division right now, it looks like Bronner would get bored with it pretty quickly, and so will the fans, I think. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Great email from Given Quality. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Rosselli Enterprises. Rosselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Rosselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RosselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IDO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IDO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at iboboxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on LDL TV. Glad you could join us. And speaking of LDL TV, I finally got. I was shocked. You know, there's two. I got to admit, you know, I got two dream girls, and LDL TV's got them both sewn up, and they're keeping them from me. But I finally got a response from my girl Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Hey, you know, sorry. She actually responded on Facebook. Yeah. You know, so give a shout out to my girl Michelle. We got some more emails here. ACJJ says this guy probably is the worst Floyd Mayweather. Oh, Floyd, no discussing about Floyd. Yes, I am the worst Floyd Mayweather hater. I'll admit that. Can't stand the guy. Not for his boxing ability, just for the guy, the man. You know, so I'm not sorry. You're catching us on the wrong day, ACJJ. But thanks for the email, taking the time. If you want to talk about the sport with anyone other than him, drop us an email. We'll be glad to get to you. Hey, Frog Gonoso says, I like Pavlik versus Ward. Oh, Pavlik versus Ward. He says, yeah. Everyone on the Ward bandwagon, and most say Pavlik is all washed up. We will probably see an excessive clinching, but a good fight. Pavlik is a tough guy, hits hard, he's a good fighter. Who knows? Great thing about boxing is sometimes the guy who's supposed to lose surprises everyone. That's a good point, Frog. It's just that Ward is, in my opinion, he's just on a different level than Kelly. And yes, Kelly was a huge, fighter, I guess, or he was a topic of conversation when he was dominating the middleweight division. But, Come on, man. He's not the same fighter anymore. Bernard Hopkins pretty much ruined his career, I think. I mean, he's just never been the same fighter. And I think that the issue with the Ward-Pavlik fight isn't so much that it's just that has Pavlik really proved that he deserves to be in with the elite fighters? And talk about elite. I mean, Ward is elite. Pavlik is not. But I do agree with Frog. You never know. And this is what happens. You get these fights that no one gives anyone a chance for and next thing you know, they win. That's why you got to fight to fight, right? So thanks for the email, Fragonzo. EQX says, I love seeing all the press and the promotion 50 Cent is doing for Gamboa and boxing in general. He's been doing radio interviews on major stations, showing up on press days. And as far as Floyd and Guerrero, Floyd doesn't need to hurt him. Floyd didn't hurt Cotto and Mosley, but he won because at the end of the day, yeah. We're not going to talk about Floyd. But I agree with you about 50 Cent, and that's what you need. And that's what this week's column is about. It's about promotions and promoters and why they don't promote anymore, or how come they don't promote anymore. And I agree with you, whether he actually does his own promotion ever or not, whether he is a one and done, whether he's, here today, gone tomorrow. All we do know is that, he's getting his face in front of the cameras. People are talking about it, and he's doing what promoters should do, and that's promote his fighters. And in this case, EQX hit it right on the head with Gamboa. So I agree with EQX. My man Biggerback says a lot of people are giving Fury crap for his last fight and praising Price, but that's as good as you could look against Johnson. Fury also showed us he has a complete game. Now I know that why you hate Johnson so much. I just want to know where the hell do these guys get that type of record, then fight bums on their most important fights, fight like bums on their most important fights. Listen, man, Kevin Johnson does possess the talent, all right? That's the sickening part. That's the fraudulent part. It's the same thing as B.J. Flores, in my opinion. B.J. Flores is a fraud because he doesn't fight. Not that he doesn't possess the skill, because he does. And Kevin Johnson has a fantastic jab, and he's got some hand speed. He's a big guy. He's strong, but he's a fraud. He's a punk. He's a trash talker that he's so scared to get hit and get knocked out that, he shouldn't be a boxer. He shouldn't. Maybe a bouncer is good for him, not a boxer. It begins with a B and ends with an R, so maybe he should be a bouncer instead of a boxer. The bottom line is this. He didn't go with any intention of trying to win. He went there to survive, to go the distance. He pulled a bone crusher. He did the same thing against Klitschko. But, if the guy performed like that, and he just came out and laid the egg, and he performed the way he did against Klitschko or against Tyson Fury, you really don't have anything to say, right? I mean, the better man won. I mean, that's all you can say. You can't really criticize a guy for surviving. However, in Kevin Johnson's case, he talked like he said he was gonna knock out Fury. He said, you never faced a guy like me. He said he's gonna show the world blah, 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 blah. Come on, man. He said all those things, and to look like, listen, if I'm him, I wouldn't be able to look at myself in the mirror. I couldn't. I couldn't come to grips with myself. Now, maybe he's laughing all his way to the bank. I don't know what they paid him for the fight. But, as far as a fighter, come on, man. Come on. There's guys that talk trash and lose, and as long as they give it their all. I'm not saying he lost, but let's just take, for an example, Bam Bam Rios against Alvarado, all right? They were both talking trash before the fight. Bam Bam Rios more so. And the fight goes on and whatever. And should the result have ended differently, should Bam Bam Rios had lost that fight, I wouldn't have been calling him a fraud because, he did try to back up everything he said. I mean, that's the difference. Not that I think he's the greatest fighter in the world, but Robert Ghost Guerrero, uncharacteristically of him, he's been talking trash lately, but he's been backing it up. So, I mean, there comes a point in time, it's like the boy who cried wolf. I mean, Kevin Johnson could have come out and put a good old-fashioned ass beating on Tyson Fury, but he didn't. And he could get another shot, which I hope he doesn't. I hope he never puts on a pair of boxing gloves again. I mean, this guy is those kinds of guys are the worst for the sport. If you're not going to fight, it's the misconception of what you got to do to sell tickets. It's the same thing that happened with Zab Judah and Danny Garcia at the press conference on Saturday in New York City. In New York City, I mean, all they wanted to do was have a steak at Gallagher's Steakhouse, and they start with the I'm going to do this, you're this, you're that, blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, okay, if it really turns out to be something, like David Hay, I'm going to knock him out. He's never, when he fights Klitschko and then he runs like a girl. The only time David Hay has ever backed up any trash talk was against Chisora. And that's because he had no fear of Chisora. So, there comes a time when if you're going to shoot off your mouth, you got to be willing to back it up. Kevin Johnson is a fraud. He's a fraud. And I agree with Biggerback. You can't blame Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury can only fight with the guy who fights back. Now, as far as David Price and the connection there, David Price looked good, knocked out a tough guy. But two different fights, two different dance partners, man. Styles make fights. I was impressed to see Tyson Fury looking a little more controlled. He definitely looks more refined. He's in way better shape. I mean, I haven't seen him ever look as good physically as he looks. It's an interesting fight. Him and David Price is an interesting fight. Too bad that they're really at different levels worldwide. Tyson Fury's lined up for a world title shot, and David Price is a few fights behind that. So, great point by Biggerback. But yeah, that's why I hate Kevin Johnson. And Dan the Man Henderson said to me in an email earlier, he said, yeah, now I know why you really hate him. And it's not because he's a fraud, not because he's a trash talker, not because of all the other things he does, but because he's a Giants fan. Yeah, he wears a Giant. Hey, I'm glad that he wore Giant stuff because now all the Giant fans can be associated with frauds like him. Their team is just like him. And that's me. I'm still uptight about how terrible my team is, even though they won yesterday with the guy that should be in there at quarterback anyway. Biggerback says at any other sport, a record like that would be amazing, but the guy looked like he was hoping for Fury to slip on a banana peel and knock himself out. Exactly. That's a good point. He says, anyway, when they announced Golovkin would fight Rosado, I was disappointed because Gabe is a junior middleweight. But it turns out that Golovkin is a very small middleweight, so that fight's fine by me. That seems to be a trend, right? You got the champions now, and they look for, to get them to do two things. To get a quality opponent in the same weight class has been a tough nut to crack these days. You get either or. You either get a guy that's the same size as you that's not in your league, or you get a guy that's in your league that's got to move up a couple of weight classes. Now, Gabe Rosado, this is a guy that fought at welter. Now he's junior middle, and now they're going to have him move up. He's a big guy. But I don't know that he should be forced to do that myself. I mean, he's making such I think he's a mandatory for a junior middleweight. So I'm not sure about that. But hey, listen, we got to take a break. And when we come back, let's see, do we have any more emails? Let's see. I have some news. I have a news email from Dan the Man coming up in about 2.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretcher, that man, I would
think. You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. And tell him Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C., damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Wrong.
What's the problem?
Billy,
what?
C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask
wrong
you.
speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. And welcome to Fight Now audience just joining us. Like they do every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you don't have Fight Now in your sports channel lineup, you need to call your local television provider. And I don't care if it's satellite or cable, and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. For all the information about the channel, you can find it on their website, www.fightnow.com. Speaking of Fight Now, we are doing a post-fight Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez #4. As soon as the fight is over on Saturday night. Now, I'm also going to have a schedule for you this week. Fight Now's got some extended coverage of weigh-ins and press conferences and stuff like that that I've been promised, and I'm going to get a list of that early this week. So as soon as I get it out there, I'm going to give you guys more reasons to sign up for Fight Now right now. So Fight Now TV, Fight Now TV. Yeah, man, I'll give you... this week we'll get some call-in guests and stuff for the Pacquiao fight. Calling us from Las Vegas, Tony Treem will be ringside, so I know for sure that Tony will be calling in, giving us some heads up on what took place ringside, and we got some other notable people giving us a shout too. So, and of course we're going to listen from you because we're going to open up the phone line. So make sure you make that right here on Fight Now one of your stops as soon as the fight is over. And speaking of fights, we had a decent fight this week. Austin Trout against Miguel Cotto. Man, I'm still a little. I think I came to. I was at a wedding this weekend, and it was one of those weddings that you had to go away to. I mean, we had to go away to it because it was not close to us. But I don't know, man. It was like the change of the weather, and what happened was there was this old, charming little church that the wedding was held in, and there was so many people piling in. I guess one of the joists on the floor broke, and everybody had to, evacuate the building like real quick. Everybody scattered like cockroaches, and we had to stand outside for the ceremony, and it was like brutally cold. And between that and then going from that to a sauna at the reception, it was just, I think, and all the vodka I drank. I don't even drink vodka, but I'm under the weather still today. But I think it's a cold. I don't know. But anyway, the fights, Austin Trout and Miguel Cotto, we had our very own Dax Khan ringside for that. You can check out his ringside report. And also, Sivak was at the press conference for the Danny Garcia-Zab Judah fight. So he's got some quotes and stuff there. And so you can check all of that out up on the website, www.billycboxing.com. I thought the fight was closer than the scorecards were. I don't know about you guys, but, I thought Cotto, I thought Cotto lost the fight. But I thought it was closer. I mean, did you catch the scores? 117 to 111 twice. And then the other judge had it 119 to 109. That's virtually every round but one for Austin Trout. I don't know if that's the case, man. There was a couple of rounds where Austin Trout didn't do anything. Miguel Cotto was working the body pretty well. Could this be the end for Cotto, you think? Austin Trout is a young fighter. I think he was taken for granted. I think he was underestimated in the fight. Dax emailed me and said that the place was half full. Madison Square Garden was half full. Listen, let me tell you guys something. And I'm surprised of how many fights are actually scheduled. And in my opinion, we're in a resurgence in boxing. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody's always talking negatively about the sport, but we're clearly in a resurgence, man. If you look back at the last 5 years, and then if you really think about the fights that we've seen and the matchups that we've had, I mean, listen, we can't. It's just like when you're evaluating a fighter after his career is over, where he fits in boxing history and stuff. You can only go by who's who during the era. So if we're going to see a fight, like let's just use for an example, Danny Garcia and Zab Garcia, that's a good matchup. Now, it may not be the greatest matchup. It's not Tommy Hearns against Marvin Hagler, but it's all we got today. It's two. You got the young kid in Danny Garcia, who's the champion. You got Zab Judah, who actually has a piece of a belt, I think. I'm pretty sure. I lost track. Who's at the downside of his career. But it's a good matchup. I mean, it's from the pool that we have to choose from today. It's a good matchup. So, I mean, there's another example. You got that coming up and everything else. But traditionally, December is terrible for fights, man. I mean, usually from Thanksgiving here in the States, in November until January is like the dead zone for boxing. And I'm not saying that it's a dead zone meaning that there aren't good matches made. I'm talking about a dead zone for the promoter, not getting people to come and watch the fights. They don't have they're hustling and bustling. It's the holidays, man. Some people like to go out shopping early. Some people shop every day for the whole month of December. For me, all I can afford, I could shop at the convenience store, maybe get somebody a soda. That's all they're getting for Christmas, But the bottom line is, people don't go to fights, man. The wife's not going to let the husband go. No, we got the holidays. I'm going to drag you to the tree lighting ceremony or some BS like that. So I mean, throughout the history, at least here in the States, I've never seen promoters do very well around the holidays. And then we got some big fights scheduled. I mean, next week will be a telltale, right? Then again, I think it's sold out, didn't it? Didn't it sell out, the Pacquiao Marquez fight? But I think people were underestimating Austin Trout. And again, it's a situation where nobody knows him. He's not promoted. Nobody knows who he is. Who is he? Austin who? You're going fishing in Austin, Texas? Is that what you're doing? You're fishing for trout in Austin, Texas? There's a guy from New Mexico. So, anyway, Austin Trout improved to 26-0. That's right, he's undefeated. 14 knockouts, 12-round unanimous decision. He's the junior welterweight champ for the WBA. Miguel Cotto drops to 37 wins and 4 losses, 30 by knockout. He says at the end of the fight, Miguel Cotto said, "I'm satisfied with the job I did tonight." I found that to be an amazing statement. You know, who says they're satisfied with the job? I mean, the last time Cotto fought against you-know-who, he felt he was robbed. He felt he was robbed against you-know-who. So is that what he's saying against Trout? I mean, I think the fight was closer than the scores indicate. But he was satisfied with his performance. The only way you're satisfied with your performance is if you win. I mean, come on now. So I don't know about that. He says, I'm going to go back to Puerto Rico, and I'm going to be thinking about what's going to be going on with my career. I don't know. Maybe we saw the end. Maybe we saw the end of Miguel Cotto. He's given us a lot of good fights, that's for sure. It's ironic because it was the first fight that I watched him at 154 that I felt that he looked comfortable at the weight. Physically, he looked just as big. He didn't. I thought the outcome was going to be a little different. I picked Cotto to win the fight. Obviously, I lost that one. So congratulations to Austin, no doubt. Trout. He said after the fight, Miguel Cotto's a great champion. He's a great fighter, and it was an honor to be in the same ring with him. It's even more of an honor to beat him. To have my hand raised against a kingpin like Miguel Cotto is a dream come true. Those shots that Cotto hit me with were strong, and I knew he'd be strong, but it reconfirmed that I could take those shots. It was definitely the hardest fight of my career, and when you fight someone as big as Miguel Cotto, it motivated me. So we'll see what happens there. And he says there's a lot of fighters out there at 154 pounds. He says, I want to be the best. He says, let's fight Canelo. It's time to unify the belts. And the funny thing about it is Canelo was, they're calling the Canelo jinx or the Canelo curse or whatever they're calling it, because he was hoping Cotto was going to win that fight and have a mega fight out in Las Vegas. So, and the last time he did that, he watched what's his name, Ortiz, go down, and lose. He was hoping to get a big fight there. So, again, I'm going to go back to. What they were saying in the email earlier. The bottom line is, like what Given Quality said, the bottom line is, who the hell is Canelo? If he doesn't fight Austin Trout, then, that's not right. I mean, come on. Listen, they have K9 Bundridge. Remember, Golden Boy signed K9. So they got him in his back pocket. They got him in their back pocket. So, if I'm Canelo and Cotto, the big money fight goes down the drain like it did, who am I going to pick? Austin Trout or K9, I'm thinking K9 over Austin. Austin Trout is a much more refined. He's a more complete fighter than K9. K9's a brawler. That's all he is. Kanon's going to come right out and brawl. What I liked about Trout was that he showed us a little bit of everything, right? I mean, when he was boxing, when he was using his jab and using his footwork, Cotto couldn't do anything against him, and he looked pretty sharp. I thought he looked really good boxing, and but when he came in and had a fight on the inside, he looked good too. Austin Trout deserves all the credit. I just don't think it was that close, But my man Coach is in the chat room. He says, I'm never satisfied. He knew he was done. He says, I knew he was done when he said the only way I fight Pacquiao again is if he comes up to 154. He's talking about Miguel Cotto. Listen, he's saying all Trout needs is a punch. I thought he was connecting. Listen, they made it like he wasn't, but I thought he stunned Cotto a couple of times. Pacquiao's a Pacquiao is a non-entity right now. That's why he's fighting Marquez, because he's got to get some confidence back in him. I mean, in my opinion, what has Pacquiao done? I mean, who would want to see? Again, who would want to see Manny Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto fight again after we saw what Manny did to him the first time, and Miguel Cotto's lost his last two and is seemingly digressing as soon as so is Pacquiao. You know, the last thing I want to see is two fighters that are starting to really age. You know, I mean, come on, it's time to either hang them up or find someone else. I don't know, man. But anyway, I don't know about you guys, but Showtime usually puts on the great cards, and they had a couple of good fights. I'm going to talk about those in a sec. But what's going on with the announcing team? I mean, this is a group that has just they were at the top, man. They gave us so much material to compare HBO to, and to say that Showtime, the little guy, is better and puts on better shows. Now they've maintained the level of their competition, at least the competitive value. Showtime, I think, is light years ahead of HBO, but I think they're trying to catch up with the piss poor commentating job because Al Bernstein is the best. There's no question about that. He is the best. Steve Farhood's pretty damn good too, and Barry Tompkins is up there. Barry Tompkins, hey, listen, what's a better broadcast team than Barry Tompkins and Al Bernstein? And sprinkle in Steve Farhood. Paulie Malignaggi does an okay job, but you know what the problem? You know what I can't stand about Paulie, aside from his get-ups and stuff? Paulie is acting like the way Roy Jones Jr. used to act. He talks about himself a lot. He compares fighters with himself. He used the word elite. He referred to himself as an elite fighter. Now, whether you like Paulie Malignaggi or not, as a fighter, as an announcer, as a person, whatever your opinion is, I wouldn't call him elite. I'm sorry, man. He's far from elite. He may be a champion. He may be exciting, and I don't even know how exciting he is. I know he's got heart. He's got some talent. I don't think that much, honestly. I don't. And the word elite does not come out when you talk about Paulie Malignaggi. He referred to himself as an elite fighter. Listen, they don't need him, but I'll tell you what they really don't need is Joe Cortez. Listen, whatever they pay Joe Cortez to be with him for whatever the time frame is, whatever deal Showtime did, Ken Hirschman, whatever you did, write him the check and say, thank you, we do not need you anymore, Joe Cortez. Joe Cortez adds zilch to that broadcast. Nothing. Even when they try to find something to go to him and ask him his thought from a referee's point of view, which is hard in its own right. I mean, unless there's some kind of controversy going on, it's hard to find something to wonder what the referee's thinking, But then to listen to him, the guy can't speak. I mean, I'm not talking about the lack of English. I mean, that's a whole other story. But he's not a speaker. I mean, maybe he's better in person. I've spoken to him in person, and he's a little more understanding than you can understand him behind the microphone. I mean, it's like he's talking with marbles in his mouth, for God's sakes. Can't understand a word he says, and he brings nothing, no insight, nothing. They're talking about the low blow, it hit on the belt. What's your thoughts? I was glad to see him not take a point. Was it a low blow, Joe? Al thought it landed on the belt. Was it a low blow, Joe? I mean, we're asking you your thoughts. What have you would have done? Well, I would have never let them. Really, what he should have said is, I would have never gotten. I don't let fighters get close enough to hit the body. They would have never gotten a low blow when I'm refereeing because I don't let them get close enough to even hit the body. Come on, listen. Joe Cortez was a mistake by Showtime. It's time to just snip it. Cut your losses, man. Cut your losses. Anyway, Danny Jacobs, you got to give this kid credit. He comes back and stops a tough kid, the Irish Ghost, Fitzpatrick, who drops to 15-3. Danny Jacobs improves to 24-1 with 21 knockouts. Beat the hell out of Fitzpatrick, who decided to sit on the stool. It was a weird exchange. They come over, and I guess it was a doctor, or it was I don't know if it looked like Tim Smith from the Daily News, the one of the last boxing writers left on the planet. But is it Tim? I always mess up his first name. I'm pretty sure it's Tim Smith. And it looked like him, but he comes into the ring and he's asking Fitzpatrick, "Are you okay?" And this was his answer. "I want one more round. Give me one more round." One more round? That means like, what do you mean one more round? And they said no. And he decided to stop the fight himself. Even his corner was looking at him. I don't know, man. I don't know. Danny Jacobs looked good. He looked like he was experimenting. Looks like he was trying to learn, or at least implement some of the things he's been learning in the gym. I don't know. But who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? But Danny Jacobs, amazing story. The one guy, they kept talking about Gary Stark, Sr., in his corner and stuff. And I only saw him at the end, but the guy that was doing most of the instructions, his name is Andre, and I think he's the worst trainer on the planet. And when you see a lot of New York fighters, a lot of times you see this guy, Andre. He's the bald-headed guy that was, although a couple of the guys didn't have any hair, and Danny Jacobs. But he was the guy who was sitting in front of him. He was the main guy. I guess he was the chief second for that fight. He was the one giving Danny Jacobs the instruction. This guy's I think he's a terrible trainer. I think he's terrible. It's a shame because Danny Jacobs has some talent, and he's not going to go anywhere with that guy. He's not going to go anywhere with him. He's one of the worst trainers I've ever seen, honestly. I'm in one of those moods today. But I'll tell you who looked really good, Jason Velez. Featherweight, remained unbeaten, 20-0 now. He was fighting against Juan Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter. Tell me Salvador Sanchez, number 2. Well, he fought like number 2, if you know what I mean. But, tell me that guy doesn't look like Juan Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Did you see the beating he took in the corner from his own from his own trainers? They're slapping him around. The other guy's like, one guy's hitting him in the stomach. The other one's slapping him in the face. He took more of a beating in the corner than he took from Jason Velez. And then he gets knocked out. He's shaking his head. Listen, we knew that this guy was nothing. We knew that he was nothing. He was, breaks out the old chunks from the Salvador Sanchez. He's probably rolling over in his grave right now. And this guy resembles nothing of a fighter. And Jason Velez took it to him, knocked him out. That was the end of that. Velez, like I said, improved to 20-0, 15 knockouts. Salvador numero dos drops at 30 wins, 5 losses, and 3 draws, 18 coming by knockout. It was for the vacant, and this kills me when they say vacant silver belt, which is an interim belt. But Coach K is in the chat room. He says, Cortez is still living on a rep for letting Pacquiao, Marquez keep going. Cortez, I think Cortez is, I think he's awful. He says, a finish for Jacobs. I love him, but what? I don't get that question, Coach. I don't get that question. So I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Paul Spadafora called out Paulie Malignaggi Saturday night. Oh, yeah, come on. Spadafora, hey, can they fit? Can Paul Spadafora fit any more tattoos on his body, you think? I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen, Angel Man Freddy, I thought he had a lot of tattoos, but come on, man, Johnny Tapia, a lot of tattoos, but geez, Paul Spadafora, he's got him he's got him everywhere, I don't know where he's got him. But anyway, some other fights on the undercard that we didn't see. Jorge Melendez improved to 25 wins, 2 losses, and a draw when he beat the snot out of James Winchester. This was the same guy. Now, Winchester, he was the one he just fought recently. He just recently fought out of North Carolina. He put on, he was tough. He was a tough guy. And that performance got him another payday. A little too soon, but anyway, he drops to 15-7 in that fight. He was stopped at 54 seconds of the 4th round. Jeff Frontes improved to 9-0 with 8 knockouts when he stopped Pedro Acros at 1 minute and 23 seconds of the second round. Akros drops to 12 wins, 3 losses, and a draw. So anyway, coach is saying that's a problem with boxing coaches. They hold on to their fighters and they don't pass them up like other sports. Velez is great, but they're pushing him too fast. If he gets De Leon or Broner or Gamboa next, they were talking about giving him. And I thought that was weird. Coach makes a great point because they said during the broadcast that Jason Velez wins this fight. Now he's going to get a shot at Daniel Ponce de Leon. That's what they said, that he was going to be fighting Ponce de Leon. I mean, come on, man. He's 20. He's got 20 fights under his belt. You can stick him in with Daniel Ponce de Leon. Unbelievable. We had a good fight. Apparently, it was one of the only good fights on the undercard, apparently. Michael Perez and Fernando Carcano went 8 rounds of nonstop action in that one, even though, they both hit the canvas in that fight. And they were throwing bombs the whole time. Apparently, according to the judges, Perez got the better of the two. His record now is 18-1-1 with 10 knockouts. And his opponent, Carcano, he drops to 10 wins, 5 losses with 7 knockouts. The way the judges scored it, 2 of them saw it 77-72. The third had it 78-71. Jorge Diaz, not that one, another one, New Brunswick's, New Jersey. Jorge Diaz. He improved to 17-1 with 10 knockouts when he won a 6-round decision over Victor Sanchez, who drops to 3-6-1. All 3 judges saw it the same, 60-53. Junior middleweight division, Eddie Gomez improved to 12-0 with 8 knockouts when he beat up on Puerto Rican prospect Luis Hernandez, who lost for the first time. He drops to 9-1, and in the opening fight of the night, the Apollo kid John Thompson improved to 10-0 when he won a 6-round decision over Eli Augusta, who dropped to 6-6 in a middleweight fight. And another fight, we started talking about it a little earlier, was the Tyson Fury and Kevin I'm the biggest fraud in boxing Johnson fight, which took place over in Ireland, Belfast. And it was another one of these eliminated. WBC, how many elimination fights can they possibly have for the same belt? First of all, you got Vitaly Klitschko has 1 belt, and it's the WBC belt. Well, the Seth Mitchell and Jonathan Banks fight was originally, as far as I'm concerned, was at least I heard that, was called the elimination bout to fight Vitaly Klitschko. Then we got to see another fight that's coming up in a couple of weeks. Bermain Stavern and Chris Arreola. They're saying that fight is actually the fight for the WBC shot at the belt. And now they build the fight that Tyson Fury and Kevin Johnson fought on Saturday as the next elimination bout. In other words, if Vitaly retires and the belt becomes vacant, then the winner of Stavern and Chris Arreola will face Tyson Fury because of his win over the fraud that we know of Kevin Johnson. Listen, hold that thought. I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, my question is, does anyone want to see this guy fight again? I, for one, don't. I don't even want to see him. Would anybody believe what he has to say when he says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this and this and that? He does none of that, none of this, and none of that. So he's just a fraud. He's a fraud and a waste of talent. Because let's be real, the guy does have talent, but then again, he's only displayed that against how do you call it? Tomato cans?
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
Hit Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh?
What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Glad you could join us. For all the information about Fight Now, you can find it on the website, www.fightnow.com. Speaking of Fight Now, don't forget, immediately following the Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez fight, Saturday night, we're going to be doing a post-fight show right here on Fight Now. That's right. So make sure you mark it down and check it out. It's also going to be on BillyCBoxing.com, so make sure you stop by. And we're going to have people that were ringside. We're going to be chatting with them. We'll have some other guests on. Plus, we're going to open up the phone lines so everyone can give us a shout. So, Dan the Man is in the chat room right now, and he had some news. He's confirming that Martin Murray and Sergio Martinez is going to be taking place. It's going to take place in Argentina on April 27th. And he got that confirmation directly from Martin Murray. So, hey, thank you, Dan the Man, for giving us yet some other inside scoop. We got Dan the Man is saying that he's had a long conversation with Tyson Fury. Maybe we can get him to give us a shout. I didn't think we would have time, but. If he's got some Tyson Fury update, maybe we can get him on here for a couple of minutes. I'll see if I can set this up for him. He's calling from England, so let's. I'll let him give us a shout in right now. So hold that thought for a second. Why the squirrels start getting the generator going to get the phone system up, which incidentally we have a new system for, so it'll be in play tomorrow. Just not today. Tyson Fury improved to 20-0, 14 coming by knockout, and he took care of Kevin, who's got the nerve to have a nickname like Kingpin. He's more like a bowling pin. Johnson, who loses for the third time in his career, 28-3 now, with a draw. Tyson Fury was a busy fighter, busier. He was, listen. All Kevin Johnson did was run. I mean, and stay away. I mean, he's just, he did nothing. He did nothing to back up anything he said. He's just such a fraud. And Dan the Man might be giving us a shout right now. He's going to try to call us from England and give us some inside scoop on Team Tyson Fury. So, in the meantime, I'll give you the co-main event was Chris Eubank Jr., who improved to 8-0 now with 3 knockouts. When he took care of Bradley Price, who was a pretty good fighter. I thought that was a pretty impressive step up if you ask me. Price drops to 33 wins, 12 losses. All three judges saw it the same, 80-73. So we'll see what happens there. In an upset over in Germany, Karina Marino improved to 23-5 now with 6 knockouts when she won a split decision. Now, not only does she win against Susie Quintian, but she wins a split decision in Germany, which is very unlikely. Susie drops to 2 losses of her career. She only lost for the second time, and she dropped to 29-2 now with 16 knockouts. And Karina Marino, she's improved to 23-5. The way the scores were, 96-94 twice for Karina, and one judge had it 97-93 for the Killer Queen. And some other weird stuff was going on. Ruslan Shagayev pulled out of the fight against Mike Perez, and they got Firat Arslan to come in and fight on that card. But then, what happened there was he backed out. He didn't fight either. So anyway, hey, joining us right now, all the way from, I think he's going to be on the streets of London, Dan the Man Henderson. What's up, brother?
All right, Billy.
What's going on? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound all right, yeah.
Good. What's going on? You said you had some inside scoop on the Tyson Fury. What did Peter Fury have to say?
Peter Fury was defending Tyson basically because Tyson, anyone who watched the fight, see there was quite a lot of booing going on about the performance of the fight. And Peter Fury, I spoke to him and he was just defending his actions of making Tyson box instead of trying to go in there and knock him out. And he was a bit upset that the people have not seemed to realise that was the whole point of the game plan that they took, which I applaud. I thought it was a perfect game plan. I thought it was a good fight for Fury. I was really, really impressed. Really impressed.
I thought that Tyson Fury looked good. I thought that he's improving. I think he's becoming more refined. And I think he needs to.
And that is due to Peter Fury.
Well, that's good.
He's only been with Peter Fury for his past few fights. I think the first fight he trained under Peter Fury, I think, was the Pajakic fight. And the improvements he's made since then has been, well, he's like a completely different fighter now.
Well, Kevin Johnson didn't make things any easier by kind of fighting like a girl too. I mean, he just went there to survive. He didn't even want to engage or anything throughout that fight.
See, I wrote that down in my notes because I was on the Talking Boxing Twitter, and I was updating the Twitter throughout the fight. And when I was writing down, when I was watching the fight, I put down on my notes that he just looked a bit confused. There was times in the fight he just looked confused, like he didn't know he was in the middle of a boxing match. He just, like he should not have been there.
No.
Like just in his eyes, he looked a bit confused.
No, what you saw was fear, because this is a guy that talks smack and doesn't back it up. If you really look at the fights that he's lost against quality opposition, he's done the same thing. He doesn't do anything he says he's going to do, and he goes there to survive. And honestly, I mean, I like Tyson Fury. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan. But Kevin Johnson, believe it or not, does possess some talent. He's got decent hand speed and he's got some pop. I don't understand why he goes into that. He just wants to survive. I mean, that was his game plan. It looked like he wanted to go 12 rounds and that was it.
So that's what I said to myself. It looked like he just turned up to get paid. He just took a fight at 3 weeks' notice just to get paid. Did you in America? You had the fight on Wealth TV, I believe.
Yeah.
And did you see the bit with him and Tyson playing the piano and Tyson was singing along? Did you get all of that?
No, I only saw the fight because I had to play catch up yesterday, and I actually watched all the fights in a marathon yesterday because I wasn't around on Saturday. I just watched the fights themselves. So what are you talking about?
No, it was just they were very, very friendly. They were just sat in a room, and Kevin Johnson's away playing the piano, and Tyson Fury's just singing a song, and he was pretty much talking a lot of smack. Then he was telling the cameras that this was going to be the greatest heavyweight fight of all time, the usual stuff.
And that's
it's quite funny.
And that's exactly what he always says. He said before he fought Klitschko, he said he's the greatest fighter. He said he's better than Ali and all of this stuff. And it comes a point where it's like the boy who cried wolf. You can't believe him anymore. I think his stock has gone down. I didn't hear how much he got paid. Did you get any scoop on what he got paid? Because hopefully...
No, I tried to find out, but I'm not sure. But I should imagine at 3 weeks' notice, I don't think it would have been the greatest amount of money he's ever seen in his life. But I think for a 3-week notice fight, I think he would have got paid quite well for turning up and performing the way he did. I think he would have probably got overpaid, some would say.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I think they gave him a boatload of money, and he decided that he would just go there for the distance, maybe take the trip to Ireland. I don't know, man. To me, he's very disappointing. Do you have any other news you want to give us before we let you go?
No, I think that's pretty much it. As I said, I emailed you about the Martin Murray confirmation this morning.
Yeah, I just said it. That's right. You don't listen while you're in the chat room. But I had just given that tidbit out, so that's good stuff. And you're going to be working on something with your column. Are you going to do that thing that we talked about? Maybe give us an insight on some other young heavyweights to keep an eye on that's coming out of England.
Yeah, I've started working on that piece. There's a younger heavyweight, but he's in a spot of bother at the minute. Dillian White. He's a young guy from London, a young heavyweight, got a lot of talent, but he's been caught up, and he failed a drugs test. And it's another fighter who's used these different whey protein shakes and stuff like that without checking fully all the ingredients on the side of the packaging, and it's just used it. And it's when he's been tested, it's came up positive. So he's still waiting to hear back from the border control about that. But I should imagine there'll be a 6-month ban, like they did with Enzo Maccarinelli. There's another guy, Richard Towers. He's not exactly young. I think he's closer to his 30s than what he is to his 20s, but he's a good prospect too.
Yeah, I've seen stuff on Richard Towers. He's a big guy too. Hey, real quick, I didn't even ask you. David Price looked fantastic against Matt Skelton. He knocked him out, which kind of surprised. I mean, I know he's a knockout puncher, but Matt's a tough guy, and a lot of people, at least some of the gist we're getting here in the States, is that they seem more impressed with David Price than they are with Tyson Fury.
Yeah, there's one simple reason for why that is. I thought Tyson Fury was more impressive, personally, but the reason why that is because in Britain, they don't like boxing. They like to see fights, and that's the confusion that they have. What Tyson Fury done on Saturday night is he boxed very well. You got to remember, these are like thousands of drunk Brits are turning up who've had quite a lot to drink, and they've paid between £50 to £200 a ticket. They want to see a fight. They don't want to see a fat guy stand in the middle of the ring and get jabbed all night long for 12 rounds. That's not what they paid to see. So with David Price, he went in, he knocked out a tough guy, Matt Skelton, and because he knocked him out, that's why he will get more praise for that. But I was more impressed with Fury. Fury showed me a few things that I didn't expect to see from him, but to me that is down to Peter Fury, who's now training him.
The one thing I will say about Tyson Fury, and I was nervous about it when we had him on the show here recently. I came clean and was honest with him about how he delivers his jab, kind of from his waist. He wasn't doing it that much on Saturday. He was kind of delivering his jab a little straighter. Which is good because, to deliver it from the waist the way he used to, when he starts stepping up his level of opposition, like he is now, that would haunt him, I thought. So I thought he improved in that respect.
Oh, and just quickly, would you like me to clear up the situation with the WBC on that whole thing? Because there seems to be so many eliminator fights. Would you like me to clear that up, and just so everyone understands what's actually happening with that?
Okay, I thought I cleared it up before. I said that, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but the way I think they said was that the winner of Stavern and Areola gets to fight Vitality unless Vitality retires, then Tyson Fury is the next shot. So he's actually going to be the next one in line. Is that? But what happened to
that's exactly what it is.
But the confusion was that the other fight was supposed to be an elimination. The Jonathan Banks fight that he beat Seth Mitchell. I thought that was an elimination. It was being billed here as an elimination fight.
Yeah, but you know the WBC, they're a complete joke.
Yes.
But, so what it is, so we say Ariola beats Devane. Ariola would face Vitaly Klitschko if Vitaly Klitschko doesn't retire, and then Tyson Fury will fight the winner of that fight. So if Vitaly retires, then it will then go down to Tyson Fury and the winner of the Ariola fight. So it all depends on Klitschko's situation. It depends whether Tyson Fury gets a title shot the beginning of next year, or not the beginning of next year, but next year in the summer, or he has to wait till the later end of next year. It all depends on Klitschko.
All right. Well, this is what you can find out from Peter Fury and Team Fury. If he has to wait, is he going to wait for the shot, or will he get a fight in between?
He'll get a fight in between.
Oh,
they'll bring someone in to fight in between. They don't. That's the thing. Peter Fury doesn't want Tyson to be hanging around months at a time in between fights. He wants to keep him active. And under Hennessy Sports, they like to keep their fighters active. This is like Chris Eubank Jr. beat Bradley Price on Saturday night, and he will be fighting again this Saturday night, again on Channel 5.
Wow.
So that'll be 2 fights in the space of a week.
Wow.
But he was already scheduled to fight this Saturday. It's just the Bradley Price fight came up, and they said they thought it was an opportunity too good to turn down, so they put the fight on the undercard with the Fury fight. So he'll be fighting again on Saturday night.
Wow, that's impressive, because Bradley Price used to be a pretty good fighter, man.
Bradley Price is a good fighter. He's a durable guy, and that was the thing. That's why they used him as a measuring stick. That's what I explained to you the last time I spoke to you on the phone. Is in the UK they love a journeyman, somebody who they know is going to go the distance. So a young fighter will be able to test themselves against the Bradley Price. So when Billy Joe Saunders fought him, Billy Joe Saunders went 12 rounds with him, looked impressive. Chris Eubank Jr. went 8 rounds with him, looked impressive. But I don't know, there's still question marks about Chris Eubank Jr. for me. There's something about him I just don't really like him.
Well, he doesn't seem to have the knockout punch, but he seems solid. He's only got 8 fights, so we'll give him some time, right?
Well, we'll give him time, but I'm not expecting too much from him. I think the minute, even when he steps up to the upper domestic level, if he gets in a room with Billy Joe Saunders or somebody like that, or Kerry Hope, he's going to struggle, because these guys are like really tough. And with Billy Joe Saunders, to get him away, you do need to have some form of power to try and keep him off, because otherwise he'll chase you down. And I think that's what will happen, but we can only wait and see. He's got good hand speed.
Well, Dan the Man, I appreciate you calling in, and you're going to be watching the Pacquiao-Marquez fight on Saturday?
Yeah, of course.
Well, then we're going to be open. The lines will be open, so maybe you'll give us your thoughts from your side of the pond after the fight.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
It's usually what is it going to be, like 3 in the morning or something for you? 4 in the morning.
By the time the fight finishes, it'll be about 4:30, 5 a.m.
Oh, so you'll be up anyway, right?
Well, hopefully not. I'd hope you'll still be asleep. But
Dan the Man, I appreciate you calling in, my brother.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right,
that's
bye, Billy.
Dan the Man Henderson calling us from London. That's right. He was on the streets of London again. Last time he called in, he literally, I thought he was going to get hit by a bus, man. You hear all the vehicles racing around him and stuff like that. He had said in the chat room that he had some information on Peter Fury and the whole Tyson Fury thing. So I figured we would squeeze him in, even though we didn't have it scheduled. But I appreciate that. Love getting calls from Dan the Man, that's for sure. And the time differences, I think they're like 5 hours maybe ahead of us. So by the time we go on air, which is on a Pacquiao fight from Vegas, is usually around 1 a.m. On Saturday. So, he's talking 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, some other fights that took place this weekend. Paul Spadafora, talk about wasted talent. I mean, this guy, This guy, he did have some talent and stuff, and he's lingering on. He improved to 47-0 right now. Fought a guy with a respectable record, but was not anything special in Solomon Egerbeim, who dropped to 22 wins, 4 losses, and a draw, with 11 of his W's coming by knockout. Took place in West Virginia at that Mountaineer racetrack, which I've never been to. I got to get myself there. They usually have some decent fights. Not that one was decent. The way the scores were 98-91, 97-94, and one judge had it a blowout, 100-90, all in favor of Paul Spadafora, who my man Coach was saying that he was calling out Paulie Malignaggi after the fight. Again, Paulie Malignaggi, to me, whether he's found his little niche on Showtime and stuff, he should stick with that. I mean, I think his boxing career has seen better days, and I can't stand hearing him talk about how great he is, because he's not. He never was. Yeah, maybe he's a draw. Maybe some people like him, but and he's got heart. I'll give him that much. But he's not an elite fighter. He referred to himself as an elite fighter. That kind of got my goat. Now, I just, in boxing, in other sports, you never hear a quarterback. You never hear a guy like Peyton Manning, who is a first ballot Hall of Famer for the NFL. You never hear him say behind a mic, I'm the greatest quarterback. I'm one of the top quarterbacks of all time. You never hear him say that. He doesn't have to say that. His statistics speak for themselves. Why do fighters believe that they got to say it in front of the mic? People have criticized me for not giving Larry Holmes the credit that he deserves, and I am now. I give him more credit now. But I think that part of the reason has to do with that, like the Lennox Lewises and the Larry Holmes. I mean, you don't have to stand in front of the camera and say, I want respect, I deserve respect. You get it. All you got to do is perform. And Paulie Malignaggi, to say that he's an elite fighter, I mean, that's just a joke, really. I mean, whether you like him or not, and I always, sometimes I enjoy watching him. I can't stand his get-ups and the way he talks. He kind of talks with a stupid look on his face, and he doesn't look like the sharpest tool in the shed to me. He just doesn't. Although he does okay with the analysis. He comes up with some good stuff. By listening to him, you would think that, he never lost a fight in his life. But anyway, another fight that took place on Saturday for the in the super flyweight division, NABF champion Jose Salgado, who goes now by Sugar, Jose Sugar Salgado. I never heard him referred to as Sugar before, but now he is 30-2 right now with a draw when he beat Devis Perez. In a fight that took place in Mexico. Perez drops to 16-8 with 4 draws, and there was an elimination. Yes, another elimination bout for now they're eliminating for down the line. So we used to have an elimination bout would be the winner gets a shot at the title, right? And now you have elimination bouts to get a shot at an interim title who gets a shot at the title, so it's a joke. But now the IBF is even going further. The elimination fight on the undercard in the junior welterweight division was for the number 2 position. I just don't get it. I can't follow it. I just can't keep up with all of this BS, man. The IBF has actually had an elimination bout for the number 2 position, not even for the number 1, not even for an interim position, for the number 2 position, but nonetheless, Russian junior welterweight Denis Shakafov improved to 31-0 with a draw when he won a 12-round decision over Albert Mensah, who drops to 25-4. I do know one thing. Albert Mensah was, I think, ranked number 11 or number 12 or something by us. So that's going to help the unbeaten Russian move up in the ranks there as far as our rankings are concerned. On Friday night, David Price, beat the snot out of Matt Skelton. David Price is undefeated, heavyweight out of England, 15-0 now with 13 knockouts. Took care of Matt Skelton pretty quickly within 2 rounds. Matt Skelton now drops to 28 wins, 7 losses, and 23 of his wins come by knockout. Now, let's put it in perspective. Matt Skelton is 45 years old. 45. So, but the bottom line is David Price did it effectively, quickly, and excitingly. Now, he was calling out Tony the Tiger Thompson after that fight. That's a big test for David Price. I wonder if they're going to make that happen. Tony Thompson deserves a payday. He goes over to England, gets a payday, and who knows? You know, he's surprised people before. Doesn't have much hand speed, but he's a big guy. So we'll see what happens with David Price, who says in the early of 2013 he's going to be over here in the States. So, yeah, I'm sure we would definitely like to see him. Tony Dodson in the super middleweight division improved to 29 wins, 7 losses, and 14 of his wins coming by knockout when he beat up on John Anthony, who dropped to 8 wins, 28 losses. Nothing much happened over 6 rounds, 59-55 is the way the judges scored that one. In the junior welterweight division, Steve Williams improved to 13-1 when he won a 12-round decision over Kirk Goodings, who lost for the first time in his career. He's 7-1 right now in the junior welterweight division. Yusuf Al-Hamidini, who's got a record of 12 wins and 49 losses with 2 draws and only 1 knockout now because he won previously unbeaten Tommy Karras. Karras loses for the first time in his career. He's now 4-1. Other results on that card. Joe Selkirk won an 8-round decision over Ruslan Pajornizev in the super middleweight division. In the cruiserweight division, Mike Stafford knocked out Rahid Biggis in the first round, and Andy Callicoon knocked out Brendan Bean in the lightweight division in round number 3. In another name that I'm not going to be able to pronounce, Kahib Alakaverdiev wins the a vacant WBA super lightweight title by beating up on Johan Guzman. You know, Johan Guzman is one of the most overrated fighters I think that has come out in this sport. Really, this is a guy that's battled weight issues and all this kind of stuff. And it was a weird ending to this fight because the clips I saw, I think they should have ruled out a knockdown, to tell you the truth. You know, when a fighter injures himself at the hands of a punch, which it appeared to me that he did. Now, a punch was thrown, a punch was landed, and then he twisted his knee or did whatever he did to his leg. And gutted it out. He stuck it out for the rest of that round, then came out, and then couldn't continue after that. And then they go to the scorecards. That should have actually been ruled a TKO loss, in my opinion. I remember there's a couple of fighters. I know Amir Khan fought. What was it? I can't think of his name. The Irish kid, good kid. He's a nice guy. Anyway, he broke his leg. The Irish kid broke his leg in that fight and couldn't continue. And Amir Khan got the win by knockout, you know. So I don't know why this was different other than maybe it was Johan Guzman. But nonetheless, Ala Kadyrvidov, he remains undefeated at 18-0. And Guzman loses, really, believe it or not, for the first time in his career. He's 31-1 right now. So congratulations to Kahib on that one from Friday night. Also, on the undercard of that fight, Dominique 3D Dalton improved to 13-0 with 7 knockouts when he beat up on Richard Gutierrez, 99-91, and 2 of the judges had it at 100-90 for that one-sided fight. In the cruiserweight division, Isaac Thomas, he improved to 12-0 with 6 knockouts, earning a 10-round unanimous decision over Richard the Destroyer Hall, which I was shocked to see that he's still fighting. Richard Hall was the one that used to wear those funky hair colors. He used to wear like orange hair and stuff like that. He drops to 30-11. The way the judges scored that one, 98-89, 97-90, 96-91. Dominican bantamweight, Juan Carlos Peño improved to 12-0 with 6 knockouts, winning a 10-round unanimous decision over Jose Luis Orizara, who drops to 29-7 with a draw. In the featherweight division, Claudio Mario gave Mauricio Martinez a knockout at 1 minute and 36 seconds in the 4th round to improve to 14-0. Martinez drops to 36-14 with a draw. And in the light heavyweight division, Humberto Savin improves to 10-1 when he won a unanimous decision over Defeer Smith. This guy's a veteran who drops to 26-23 in that one, 98-91 and 96-93. Twice. Hey, I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, I got a couple more results and some boxing news to get to. All of that's coming up in about 2.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
I have a bunch of questions, Donnell, right? If you feel like you want to, you can answer for JD first. Why will you win? JD Chapman, why will you win?
Maybe Holmes will get sick and get hit by a train that day on the way to the fight, or he might have diarrhea, he might have the flu, he might throw up. One of his eyeballs might fall out that day, and I might get lucky.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. If you want your voice heard on Talking Boxing with Billy C., then call our hotline at 845-228-8710. Leave a voicemail, or you could just tell Billy C. that you like his mustache.
Can I ask you your opinion about this idea?
I'm just trying to give you the encouragement.
Listen, all I need from you is to make sure you don't hang up on people.
And if we like your call, we'll play it back on the air.
You have the knowledge and wisdom of boxing because of what you do and how well you do it.
Leave your name, hometown, and what you think of the show. 845-228-8710. We want to hear you. Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing with Billy C.
Now back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway, up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette, he's disappointed at coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C. show. You're watching this on the Fight Now television channel. Make sure you call your local television provider and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. Pick up the phone and call. For all the information about the channel, you can find it on the website, www.fightnow.com. Speaking of Fight Now, don't forget, Saturday, immediately following the Manny Pacquiao won Manny Marquez fight, we will be doing the post-fight show right here on Fight Now. So check it out. My man Dave Murphy's in the chat room. He says, he's talking about the Showtime announcing team. He says, this new guy, the blow-by-blow guy, Mario Ronaldo or whatever, is just awful. I agree with you, man. I didn't want to just, listen, you like Paulie. I don't like Paulie. I think Paulie, actually, let me rephrase that. Paulie is good, but I can't stand former boxers, or in his case, current boxers, that refer to themselves with every explanation that they're given. Like he's saying, oh, yeah, he's setting up with the jab, like the way I throw a jab, or, he wants to fight me next. Or, it's like he's promoting himself when he forgot that his job is to be, analyzing what's going on. But, what really threw me off the deep end with Paulie was when he referred to himself as an elite fighter. And I'm sorry, but he's not. He's not an elite fighter. I don't even know if he's upper echelon. He's got the girly little hands that can't knock anybody out, and that's the end of that. But I agree that I don't know why they don't stick with Barry Tompkins. And, Gus Johnson had actually toned it down and wasn't bad. I know I was critical of Gus Johnson, but I agree with that new guy. Is just he just doesn't fit in. I don't know, man. What the hell do I know? But anyway, in a fight that I had wrong, Pablo Munguia improved to 17-3 with 12 knockouts when he won a 12-round unanimous decision over veteran, and that's to say it loosely. Antonio Petulia, who drops to 53-7, 119, 111, 116, 112, 116, 113. I thought Petulia would catch up with him and possibly stop him, and that's why I went the other way. Now, I don't know if any of you know who Andrew Flintoff is, but Andrew Flintoff was a cricket player. I don't think cricket's too popular here in the U.S., but he decided to become a boxer. I think he stopped playing cricket, and he's got in the ring on Friday night and fought a guy named Richard Dawson. And he's trained. Andrew Flintoff is being trained by Barry McGuigan. That's right, the Barry McGuigan. He's 34 years old, and he's been playing cricket for 15 years. He retired in 2010, and decided to become a boxer because of his knee injuries. The way he won it was a 4-round heavyweight decision. He got 39-38, even though he hit the canvas. Anyway, we'll see where his career goes. Doesn't sound like it's going to be going too far. And in Australia, we had junior welterweight Adisu Tibidu improved to 5-2 with 3 draws when he defeated Matthew Lindwenko, who drops to 9-2 in a 10-round fight. 97-93, 98-94, 97-93 was the way the 3 judges scored it. Also, Zach Dunn improved to 6-0 with 6 knockouts when he stopped Zheng Yang of China, who goes to 0-3. And Jobert Delos Reyes improved to 9-4-1 when he won a decision over Andrew Wallace, who lost for the first time in his career. He's now 9-1 with a draw in a 6-round contest. And Les Sheridan knocked out his opponent in the 8th round. So that takes care of the fights from Saturday night and Friday night. So we got some other boxing news I wanted to talk about right now. They're talking in the chat room about the Rosado-Golovkin fight. Dave Murphy likes it. I don't. I don't see why there's this movement where fighters have to move up in weight. Now, Golovkin had bragged about fighting anyone from junior welterweight all the way up to super middleweight or even light heavyweight. He said he'll take on anyone. So, his belt is on the line, so that means it's going to be a middleweight fight. And Rosado just moved up to junior middleweight. I don't think he's – what was he got, 3 fights maybe at junior middleweight? He's an exciting fighter, and I'll tell you what, that would be an exciting fight. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, Mike Tyson, yep, the Mike Tyson, who was, we had our Alex Papali, when he went and saw the Mike Tyson show down on Broadway, he wouldn't cut loose with anything. I had to pull teeth out of him to get us, an inside scoop of what was going on in that fight. In that show. But I guess the reason is because maybe Alex knew that he was going to continue it. Well, they are. It was announced over the weekend that Mike Tyson's one-man show, Undisputed Truth, it's hitting the streets. That's right. They're going to be going on a United States national tour beginning in February. It's going to start off in Indianapolis. That's in Indiana, in case you guys don't know, on February 12th. And right now, as the dates they have, 36 of them to be exact, 36 cities, and it ends in New York City, actually in Long Island, Westbury, Long Island, on May 5th. So we'll see what happens with that show. So Mike Tyson's coming to a city near you. That's right. Zab Judah and Danny Garcia, they did their press release, their press conference on Saturday before the Miguel Cotto fight at Gallagher Steakhouse in New York City. And I guess Zab Judah didn't like some of the comments that Garcia's team threw at him. He said every time he takes a tough fight, he failed. Zab Judah got mad, and next thing you know, he starts throwing stuff around. And Danny says, my dad motivates me. He talks crap, and I go back it up for him. If a fight breaks out, then I got his back. Garcia said to Zab Judah during the press conference on February 9th, I'm going to teach you how to respect older people than you. I'm going to punish you. I'm going to leave you lying there in the ring. I hope so. Because Danny Garcia is a breath of fresh air. Maybe not his father, but he's a breath of fresh air in his boxing. I like to see the younger fighters. I want to, Danny Garcia is fighting. This is a guy that is fighting. I mean, he's active. I love it. Zab Judah, he's waiting around. Zab Judah's, his time is come and gone. I mean, whatever. I think it's fitting that Danny Garcia is going to take care. I think he's going to knock out Zab Judah. I really do. Network television. Remember when boxing used to be on network television? Well, it's back. That's right. Maybe they see the resurgence in the sport the way I do. And we got not one but two coming back to us on regular network television. Now, the last time it was really on network television, true network television, was all the way back in 2005 when they were doing the Contender Series. But we know that Steve Cunningham is going to be taking on Tomas Adamek in another one of these shows that are destined to have trouble at the gate. But we'll see. Tomas Adamek is a big draw in Pennsylvania. And he's going to show me if he can sell out the place December 22nd. And that's going to be on the NBC network coming from the Sands Casino in Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And then the week before that, CBS is back. And he's going to be doing, they're going to be doing a broadcast featuring the IBF Bantamweight champion, Leo Santa Cruz, who is an exciting fighter. If you missed him, on the undercard of the what fight was he on? He was on the out in Vegas, the Manny Pacquiao. Last time Manny Pacquiao fought, right? Was it the Manny Pacquiao fight? Last time, I'm pretty sure he was on the undercard of that one. But nonetheless, that fight's going to be what fight was? Yeah, it was a Manny Pacquiao fight. It was a Manny Pacquiao fight in September. So that fight, Leo Santa Cruz, 22-0 with the draw right now. He's going to be putting his belt on the line against Alberto Javora. Javora is undefeated at 16-0, and it's going to be on regular old television. And also Jojo Diaz Jr. is going to be on that card as well. He was an Olympian from the United States this year, and he's going to be making his pro debut. So we'll see what takes place later on that night, in December on that network. So, did you hear that the rumor that Jose Suleiman, the troll man from the WBC, that he's contemplating retirement? He says, and I quote, "I'm 81 years old, and I'm starting to feel tired." He says, "I would like to experience what I have left in this life with my family and enjoy my passions, traveling and photography. I want to reflect and make the best decision for my family, for boxing, for boxers, for the WBC employees, and boxing in general. I still have the option to be reelected." Do I have to tell you what I think about Jose Suleiman and the WBC and his position? Does it really matter if it's his position or not? Because isn't he going to be giving it to his son? Wouldn't his son... wasn't he on? Okay, yeah. Coach K has reminded me. Santa Cruz was on the Abnamares Marino card. That's right. I was wondering, but Pacquiao fought up the street, right? Pacquiao fought on the at the other. There was the other fight, wasn't it? Wasn't it Pacquiao fighting that weekend and Abnamares fought Marino? There was two fights. We were out in Vegas for that week. I can't believe I can't even think of the fight. But anyway, Jose Suleiman, Mauricio Suleiman will be the guy that will takes the spot. I mean, he says he's ready. Of course he's ready. Speaking of the WBA, they have a new champion. His Chocolito, Roman Chocolito Gonzalez, was now elevated to super champion status, and they're going to make the regular old champion, Lara. That's right. Marcian and Lara was the other fight. they're going to make him the super champion in the WBA. You know, they always use the word elevated. We're elevating him to the super champion. We're elevating him to the diamond-studded Super Mongoose Championship or whatever. But then yet they have to wait in line to get a shot at their old title that they just got elevated from. You know, it's such a scam. It's such a scam. I don't know. Sergio Martinez says, just like what Dan told us, he says the fight is going to happen on April 17th in Argentina against Martin Murray. So, Yorick Gamboa has been had his face in the news a lot this week with 50 Cent, with his face too. It's good, man. It's good. You want to see that. You know, you want to see this guy promoting his fighters. You know, I still haven't heard anything on the Billy Dibb thing. You know, remember the purse bid that was won Billy Dibb against somebody. I don't even forget his name. Wasn't even a top guy. $50,000 is who won the purse bid. I'm curious to see what happens with that and what 50 Cent's role is going to be. That's Curtis Jackson, in case you don't know. He's the SMS Promotions. Now, he's going to be actually the promoter or co-promoter of that fight in addition to Top Rank coming up this weekend. It is going to be on the undercard of the Manny Pacquiao Juan Manuel Marquez fight. So we'll be looking forward to that one. So we'll see. We'll see what's up with that. You know, I'm trying to think. Now I got this. I'm all confused here because that fight, right? That fight that was Saul Alvarez was the main event on one of those fights, because that's the one where he fought Josito Lopez. That was on one network. That was taking place on the Strip, and then the other fight was the Top Rank card, and the Top Rank card was the one with Manny Pacquiao on it. That was the Timothy Bradley fight. You know, I guess it had to be. It had to be the Timothy Bradley fight, right? Timothy Bradley against Manny Pacquiao. Huh. My mind is going blank here. It's a rough weekend, man. I think I'm coming down with something. Like I don't know what, but it's affecting my memory today. Also, speaking of Manny Pacquiao, and the fact that we're going to be doing the post-fight show right here on Fight Now on Friday after his fight, and look for my column today up on BillyCBoxing.com. It'll be up there later on today or by tomorrow morning. You can check it out. My new column is, in my opinion, it's not like I've never done columns before. It's just new now because I just started it last week. But this topic right here was June 15th, not September. Not September. I don't know why I said September. But, yeah, June 15th. What fight was in September? What two fights were in September that these guys are straightening me out here? Right, Pacquiao Bradley was in June. What two fights were in the same week in September that we had two fights in the same night? Wasn't Pacquiao Bradley one of them? You know, one of you guys straighten me out. Murphy, come on, man. Come on, Murph. You know, I'm going insane here. I'm getting all these different answers. Yeah, I know Santa Cruz was on the Mares Marino card. That was a great fight. But Saul Alvarez wasn't he on that card? I mean, you know, didn't he fight Josito Lopez? Wasn't that one of the fights? You know, I mean, I'm curious to know. I don't. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait. These guys are going to tell me what I'm forgetting here. I'm losing my mind. But back to my thought. Now I can't even pay attention today. Back to my thought about Manny Pacquiao. My topic this week is the fact that promoters don't promote anymore. And one of the reasons why we only have two major promoters is because they're willing to promote. And I think what happened this weekend in Times Square was an indication of why boxing and the other wannabe promoters have let it be controlled by two major promotional companies. And that is because of stuff like what they did. Top Rank put Manny Pacquiao training on the big screen at Times Square. And it was a hit. Everybody loved it. People were stopping and just looking up at the screen at Times Square. I mean, that's called promotion, and that's what you want, man. Oh, that's right. That's right. Coach K finally. I can't believe I forgot that. September, when we were out in Vegas, we had Saul Alvarez against Josito Lopez. Manny Pacquiao was not in the mix. And Chavez and Martinez was the fight. Those were the two fights, same week. One was at the Thomas Mack Center, the Chavez fight. And Saul Alvarez and Josito Lopez was up the street at MGM. So thank you, Coach, because I'm sitting there going, what am I missing? I was out there. We had this great week. We had this, we had that, and I can't even remember what the hell we were doing. But anyway, that's correct. Manny Pacquiao fought in June or July or something, and June against Bradley, and that's that. So we're over that conversation. But Pacquiao, Times Square, man, it's good stuff. And that is why some promoters, why all promoters are looking to run the show, man, because those two promoters are the guys that are opening up their checkbook, But anyway, my man Curon, now you've heard us talk about Curon a lot, and he's done a lot of stuff for this show behind the scenes. He sent me an email. It was interesting. There's a company called ROK Global. It's I've never heard of it, so I'm going to assume that maybe it's from England. It's a mobile and web and industrial technology applications company. They made an announcement on Friday that the ROK TV Productions subsidiary had signed an agreement and came to an agreement with Coldwell Boxing to produce and stream a series of live boxing events worldwide. Here's the thing, what I don't like about it, what I like about it is that they're giving it to us, right? It's great. It's great stuff. As much boxing as we can see available to us, I vote for that, except for pay-per-view. And this is following the stream, where you pay for a stream. And I think that's terrible. I think it's terrible. Right now, anyway. I think that if you're going to get a TV network that you get big fights on that you have to pay extra for and stuff, that should be enough, man. Why do we have to watch? And these aren't going to be world title fights. These are going to be like club level shows and stuff. Now, the mentality is, well, you do a pay-per-view, somebody wants to watch it, they're going to pay, and it's very cheap. And the events are only going to be €1 and for the first one, and then you get all of them for another €250. Now that $2, $2.50, €2.50, which equals about $1.60 something in U.S. money for that first show, and about $4 for all the rest of them. It's not the price that bothers me. I don't think that a person is gonna, say, oh, it's only $3, it's only $4, I'm gonna buy it. I don't think it's the money. I think that same person is gonna buy the fight, whether it's $1 or whether it's $9. The person that's going to buy that fight is going to pay for it. It's not the $1 versus $9 that's going to make or break somebody from buying the fight. I think it's the mentality of the internet being for free, and I know from our own experience that people don't want to pay for anything on the internet, and the internet was when it first came out, like it was a new car. When the internet was unveiled, so to speak, when we had the ability to communicate through the internet, I think that's the best choice of wording. The whole idea was it's everything at your fingertips for free. After it exploded the way it is now, people are trying to figure out ways of making revenue from it. Well, I think what we're going to see in the future, and I've said this before, is that you're going to pay for your plan, whatever your plan is, whoever's got your TV, your phone, all that stuff. And you're going to pay one person, and you're going to pretty much decide what type of package you want. I want a sports package. I want a boxing package. I want, reality TV package, whatever. And then you're going to have access to all of that stuff for that money. The television companies, the television stations, will be getting their split, their cut from the revenue from the TV providers. That's how they'll make their money. Right now, that's not happening because that's why they're charging the internet. The internet's not blanketed under television. So in other words, TV charges you for a pay-per-view. Internet's not included there. Now, some of these companies offer it on different internet vehicles where you can pay and get that as well. But I think in the near future we're not going to have that option. I think that you're going to buy a plan and you're going to have access to all your stuff, whatever that plan is going to be. If it's going to be like mobile rates are now, whether it's going to be like television rates, I don't know. But I think that's how it's going to happen. And what's taking place now is we got a lot of companies that are popping up that are trying to get a piece of the pie. And the mentality is there's millions and millions of people on the internet. Let's just take a small slice of that, and we'll be able to make substantial money. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think people pay. Listen, I know for a fact that people don't pay $4.99 to see a pay-per-view. The biggest, here's a stat for you I'm going to leave with you real quick. The biggest pay-per-view boxing event that was on television by itself, that was on the internet by itself. Now, I'm not talking about an event that that was a pay-per-view event that you could watch on the internet and maybe get it cheaper than you could on television or what have you. I'm not talking about those because they don't count. But I'm talking about a webcast that was a pay-per-view event, the largest one on Ustream as of yesterday, today, whatever, was Roy Jones Jr. against whoever he fought about a year or so ago. And they got 446 buys. You heard right, 446. Now, MMA pay-per-view, they've gotten 1,000 buys, but that's it. People think that it's all this huge amount of money, but it's not. People are not buying internet pay-per-views. They don't buy it. Trust me, they don't. And if you think that people are buying, and for all you promoters out there that fall for the lies and the propaganda that comes from that three-letter site about their buys, you tell us the truth. And I've talked to many promoters who have come clean and tell me how many buys they get. 20 buys? Come on, man. Nobody's doing it.
Wake up. It's time for the It's Too Early for a Trivia Question.
All right, it is time for It's Too Early for a Trivia Question. And today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is being brought to us by Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, New York. Give my man Bruce a call. And by the way, he's getting some new stuff. Did you know that there's they're going to be adding a big MMA cage at Gleason's, and they have another annex in Manhattan. So I'm going to get you some information on that. If you can't wait for me to get the information, call Gleason's yourself and tell them Billy C sent you. 718-797-2872. 718-797-2872. Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, New York. Or you can go up on our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the Gleason's Gym banner. All right. Last Friday, we had a question that was actually recycled. It was a pretty tough one. But our newest trivia expert got it right. The question was, during the buildup of the first Muhammad Ali-Joe Frazier fight, which took place May 8th in 1971, the New York Daily News polled 100 celebrities for their predictions on the outcome. Of the 100 polled, 46 said Frazier would win, but only one said it would be by decision. Who was it? Well, Henry Haskup, he knew that Yogi Berra was the only one that got that one right. So congratulations to Henry. But here's what we're doing. I issued a challenge to Henry because he already had the title bout championship computer game, and he's been getting some cards and stuff. So if he gets the next two in a row, including today's and tomorrow's, assuming he gets it, then I'm going to send him a book, a Clay Moyle book. So he's got one. He's taking the gamble. He's taking the risk. So somebody else has to get it right, too, or Henry gets the next two in a row, he wins. So what former world champion boxed 5 consecutive draws of 20 or 25 rounds? Would former world champion boxed 5 consecutive draws of 20 or 25 rounds? If you know that answer, email me, Billy at talkinboxing.com. That's TALKIN, BOXING.com.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanero and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That is Campanero and Tomkovich. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. Let Campanero and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. Tell them Billy C sent you, and then I'm going to pick up the consultation fee. That's right. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. On this day, December 3rd, 1926, Mickey Walker wins a 10-round decision over Tiger Flowers to win the world middleweight title. Took place on this day, December 3rd, 1926, in Chicago. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. I got one more thing to say. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, same bat time, same bat channel. The Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call. For all information about the channel, you can find it on their website, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.